Cool. So a little bit about my story is, well, my name's Brody, first of all. I'm 28 and I've lived in Port Macquarie for most of my life. For most of my life, I've sort of been one of those Christians that I believed something. I believed there was a God. I believed there was heaven and hell. But that was about as far as that went for me. And it was about that way until about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I really had my first, encounter with God and moment with God, where, through a friend, just randomly, I just got put on my heart and on my mind that I should look into church and just what exactly church represents. And then, I found my way here to Port Anglican, and for this internship I've now found myself at. One thing led to another, and I came here that fateful day, and then was just like, oh, cool. This is a really nice environment, and there's something more to this. I'm feeling drawn to something more than just what I thought. And then I was invited to young adults, and again went there and started really forming some strong connections with the different people here in the church. And it was through those strong connections I found myself coming across from childcare, which is over at St. Columba, which is what I do for work. I've done that for about 9 years now. I found myself coming across and exploring and just being drawn to the youth nights that were being held at SCAS. And at that point in time, I really did feel drawn to that space, and started going there. And then I was asked if I would like to help out. And as I grew in my faith, I felt more like that's something I was supposed to be doing. My passion's always been for people, children, kids, even people of all ages, really. So it's eventually led me to taking on this internship, and so here I am this year, starting it as a youth minister, as a youth leader, and I'm really excited. Why am I doing this internship? So I guess for me, the reason I'm doing this internship is it's due to a series of events which really sort of solidified in my head. You know how God, he has a plan, and he wants us all to follow his plan, because it's always greater than the ones we can come up with. But sometimes when he creates a plan, we like to play like hop, skip, and go off track. But I found that the reason I found myself at this internship and doing this internship is because I think he knows I'm very geographically challenged, and so he laid out a pretty straight path for me. Showed me just through a variety of interactions with people. I was about a year and a half into my journey with Port Anglican and faith. I was already doing volunteering at the youth ministry and with the kids' church, and was coming here on a Sunday and just trying to live my best life. And I was sort of praying about what I would like to do and what I was meant to do. And over that course of time, I started getting people coming up to me and just having discussions with me about thinking perhaps I might be really helpful as going on as an official leader, and it might be something that I was called to do. And when I had those discussions, I sort of took on a more serious thought about it, and then I had more people come up who'd been praying and came up to me and spoke words over me, and just mentioned that they felt like I was really being called to enter into youth ministry and into the church and into my life with Christ on a more serious level. And then towards the end of the year, when I was really starting to have a lot of those occurrences start building up, making it fairly clear for me, Stuart actually called me aside, and he had just a discussion with me about where I felt my faith was at and what I thought, and mentioned that perhaps he felt like my heart was aligned with the ministry for youth and with what the church is trying to do here in Port Macquarie and the greater surroundings. And yeah, at that point in time I'd been praying, and when Stuart offered me at that point the internship as a youth minister, coming on and being more heavily involved in the church, it was very much an answer to my prayers about how I could move forward. So that's pretty much why I've come on, is because I do just feel like people are my passion now. Christ is my passion, and if I can help in either of those ways and combine those two, I feel like that's what I'm called to do, and I'm very thankful to have this opportunity. So the internship for me is something that, as I said, I'm 28. I've worked with people for most of my adult life in different industries. I've worked a variety of jobs, which have got me a lot of different social connections. I'm a very social person, but I found that over the last 2 years, my spiritual journey has been growing steadily, and my faith and my relationship with God has been growing steadily. And I do feel like it needs to just take on a more serious approach, and I need to be a bit more serious with my relationship with God and bringing Him into my life, and just in all ways. And I'm really excited to take this internship and grow in my own relationship with God. But as I feel like I'm called to be a tool for God and be a cup to be poured out for other people, and the arms and legs to reach all the different vast social circles and social networks that I belong to, all the different families, sports teams, the different people that I could reach. Right now they know me as Brody and just Brody, but as I grow in my faith with God, and I wish to just, as I said, involve Him in all I do, I pray that God will come with me into those spaces and will use me in those spaces to reach out and touch other people like He has reached out and touched me, and we can lead them to knowing God. That is my hope for this internship, because I really do have a passion for people of all ages, and I look forward to being able to see what God has in store for me this year. If you see me around, come say hey. Become one of those people that my social connections can connect with, because I love having a chat. I love people.